I got some updates and some news about Leon Lott. I'm gonna do some other news too, but this first story I'm gonna be covering. What's going on, Diesel Bomber? How you doing? This is the first story I'll be covering because I want to get at Leon Lott. I want to get at him. I want him to burn. I want him to feel the wrath. I want him to feel the wrath that I've got bestowed upon him, that I'm going to bestow upon him, that I'm going to give to him, that I'm going to show him, right, that there's consequences to your actions, sir. You could sit here and lie. You could sit here and bullshit. You could pretend someone's crazy. You could pretend someone's lying. You could do all that bullshit, but I guarantee you one day, you will have to face the consequences, sir. One day, you will face the consequences. One day, you will have to face the consequences of your actions. One day, you will learn there are consequences to covering up rapes. That's why I've held this grudge against you my entire life, because you're a piece of shit. You're a piece of shit who covers up rapes, and I'm going to prove it once and for all. Because see, even if people don't believe my story, how the hell are you going to discount what several high school girls saying? Parents too. What's your excuse for that? What's your excuse for that? Anybody? Anybody want to give Leon Lott a fucking excuse? Yeah. So let's go ahead and get into why I'm saying all this. Let's get into why I'm saying all this. All right, so this bad cop note, it's going to be about Leon Lott. It's from the state newspaper, which is South Carolina's flagship publication next to the Post and Courier. Court filing. Richland Sheriff covered up school deputy preying on teens for 9 years. By David Travis Bland, published on March 26, 2021. This year, by the way, updated March 30th. Let's go down here. Richland County Sheriff Leon Lott and internal investigators protected a deputy from 2010 to 2019 who they had reason to know was a sexual predator, lawyers in a civil suit alleged in a Wednesday court filing. Protecting the now former deputy Jamil Bradley, who was primarily a school resource officer, protecting the now former deputy Jamil Bradley, who was primarily a school resource officer, amounted to a cover-up to save the Richland County Sheriff's Department from embarrassment and liability, according to the filings. Lott and Captain John E. Ewing, the former deputy supervisor, deliberately and systematically concealed Deputy Bradley's predatory nature and concealed their own knowledge of his predatory nature, the filing said. Now, let's go to this court filing. This court filing right here is Leanne Culberson v. Leon Lott. Now, the reason why this is very, very important about Leon Lott is this filed on April 1st, 2021 in the U.S. District Courts of Appeals, 4th Circuit. Now, the reason why this is very, very important is because this is not the first time Leon Lott has been sued over covering up rapes. And we're going to go over that in this particular article because I've already been over this article. I know what's in this article. I followed Leon Lott. Right? So I want you to understand, I've already reached out to the lawyers. I've already reached out to Leon Lott. I've reached out to everybody that's involved. I've done my due diligence, baby. So we're going to go over this real quick. Leanne Culberson v. Leon Lott. Now, why is that title very, very important? Because if qualified immunity were protecting Leon Lott in this civil suit, it will be the Richland County Sheriff's Department, not Leon Lott himself, because it would just be thrown out, and every lawyer out there knows that. But Leon Lott has been sued over this multiple times, which is why qualified immunity is not protecting him. But you're going to see that in this particular article here in the state. The filing claimed that internal investigators into the former deputy were inadequate, and that Lott and Ewing shrugged off evidence that Bradley had inappropriate relationships and possibly sexually assaulted a female student. That evidence included a lie detector. That evidence included a lie detector test failed by the former deputy and emails with students that lawyers described as clearly suspicious. The number of times that Bradley was accused of inappropriate interactions with female students in those 9 years would have reasonably proved that to Lott and Ewing that the deputy was abusing students, according to the documents. The department officials downplayed those incidents in ways that indicate a cover-up. Interesting. So it's not that I'm the only one that's saying it. See, people call me a liar. They say, oh, where's the proof? You're just making this up. Okay, so all these parents who saying the exact same thing, this man abused girls from 2010 to 2019. Leon Lott knew about it, and we're going to get into the actual evidence. But for all the people out there who doubted me, you can shut the fuck up now. You can shut the entire fuck up now. We're going to go down here. In response, the department said Lott stands by comments he made following Bradley's arrest in November 2019. At that time, Lott said, I'm sick to my stomach over the thought of this girl being victimized by one of my former deputies. No child should be subjected to this. And I'm disgusted that it happened with someone who was entrusted with protecting our children. Interesting, Lott, because you're gonna go on to see how full of shit he really, really is. We didn't ignore this, Lott said at the time. As soon as this came to our attention, we got on it, really. You're going to find out how bullshit that actually is. It was the results of our internal investigations that led to his termination and the subsequent arrest, a department spokesperson said Friday. Bradley worked with the department from 2010 to 2019, primarily as a school resource officer at Spring Valley High School. The department fired and charged Bradley with third-degree criminal sexual conduct in late 2019. It charged him with sexual battery a few months later. Deputies accused Bradley of sexually assaulting at least 2 teenage students of Spring Valley. 2 lawsuits were also filed against the Sheriff's Department and Richland County Richland School District 2 officials. One of the lawsuits was settled last year for $900,000. Mind you, settled for $900,000, right? And in the details of that particular lawsuit, it was Leon Lott and Richland County Sheriff's Department was actually accused of covering it up, and you're gonna actually see that, right? You're gonna actually see that, but I'm just letting you know that ahead of time. Now, notice what I just said. I just said that Leon Lott is named personally in this filing in the U.S. District Court, right? But in the original filing, it was filed against the Sheriff's Department and Richland 2 officials because qualified immunity can still protect Leon Lott. Because he's already lost cases like this before, qualified immunity will not protect him, which is why you can name him personally, which is why no lawyer has no problem, right, naming him personally. Because if you even see here, in his capacity as sheriff of the Richland County Sheriff's Department, so they're suing him personally. That's how you know he personally was involved in this. But let's go down here and then let's actually cover some more. This week's filing involves the other lawsuit, the other one. So there was more than one, right? There was more than one. So bootlickers and people out here who call me liars, shut the fuck up. There was more than one, baby. It's not just me saying it. It's not just me saying it. It was never just me saying it. These are the cases that you are hearing about. Most of these cases never hit court. By the way, the department had requested that a judge throw out the lawsuit because it had filed beyond the statute of limitations. On Wednesday, the plaintiff's lawyers, Daniel Bowles and James Moore III, responded at the potential for a cover-up excuses the late filing. Once again, like I said, Leon Lott does this every single time. Whenever he's sued over covering up, he said, well, the statutes of limitations are gone. And the lawyers always respond with, well, that's because you were in charge of investigating it, and you covered it up so people didn't actually know there was actually wrongdoing until they started digging until they started digging into you, until they started doing FOIA requests, until Dion McNeil, aka Devil's Advocate, bad cop, no donuts, golden boy, until I came along, because I'm also a victim. My older brother Carlos Grant, who's a high school principal at Greenville High School, molested me as a fucking child, and he's 10 years older than me. If I was 4, he was 14. If I was 8, he was 18. If I was 10, he was 20. I told Leon Lott. I told his deputies. He did fucking nothing. And the media made me look like a fucking liar. How is it that I was lying, but these parents weren't lying, and the deputy was actually charged and arrested? And now we're seeing that people out here are accusing them of the exact same thing. And that's also a South Carolina Supreme Court filing known as Madison Bryant v. Babcock Center. And in the description of this video, I will leave all links so that you can read for yourself to see just how good the average cop must be if this is the sheriff of the fucking year. The filing details 7 incidents from 2010 to 2011. The filing details 7 incidents from 2010 to 2019 that lawyers argued would have been red flags for Lott and Ewing. The department's response to those incidents were deficient to the point of concealment. In 2011, Bradley was accused of habitually acting in a flirting manner with a cheerleader, the records show. A Spring Valley High School cheerleading coach found Bradley's interactions disturbing enough to have a talk with the student about them. The student told sheriff's department's investigators that she and Bradley had talked over social media. The plaintiff's lawyers brought in a policing expert to scrutinize the department's internal probes and investigations into Bradley in the 2011 case. The expert found that the department stopped short of a complete investigation. So, once again, what that person is suggesting is that this is not only a cover-up, it was fucking intentional. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say that for you again. This person is not only suggesting that it was a cover-up, it was fucking intentional. Right? So all the bootlickers out there who call me a liar, what say you now? That was in court, and that case is already settled. The judge accepted that fucking argument. Anyone who looked at that evidence can reasonably say, at the very least, this man shouldn't be sheriff because his investigation was inadequate, and that happened on his fucking watch. If high school girls, fucking cheerleaders, can be abused, sexually abused by a goddamn deputy, and you couldn't find shit in almost 10 goddamn years, do you really believe for a second? Do you really fucking believe for a second he didn't know about it? Almost a decade and he didn't know about it? Are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? Let's move on here. Concealment of Bradley's abuse continued into the filing claimed the department never requested to see Bradley's internet records or social media messages to get a better idea of his relationship with the student. So they didn't even request to see his internet records or social media records. When the student claimed, I was talking to the man on social media. And you will later go on to see just how bad this is. A department internal investigation found Bradley hadn't violated any rules of conduct in 2011. So we now know that this man was fired for raping high school girls. We now know that. The same department who investigated him the first time claimed they found nothing, right? And the only reason why he was arrested and charged was because it hit the media. That's the only reason why. That's the only reason why. Concealment of Bradley's abuse continued into 2015 after he met at 10:30 p.m. Actually, I should do that over. Concealment of Bradley's abuse continued into 2015 after he met at 10:30 p.m. with a female Spring Valley High School student identified as Jane Doe in the filing behind a Target on Two Notch Road, according to the documents. 2 Richland County drug investigators saw Bradley meeting with the student, and while their actions aren't described, one of the investigators felt enough concern about what he witnessed to report it to Ewing, Bradley's supervisor. So once again, 2 undercover officers, 2 officers, saw this man, saw a Richland County sheriff's deputy behind a Target with a high school student. They went to Captain Ewing and went to Leon Lott. At the very least, they went to Captain Ewing. And what did Captain Ewing do? Well, let's find out. Let's see if Dion McNeil, a.k.a. Devil's Advocate, a.k.a. Bad Cop No Donut Pappy, let's see if I was lying the whole time. Ewing wanted to see if Bradley's story matched the students, and he interviewed them both separately. The filing said the 2 stories did not match, but that Ewing closed his inquiry, verbally reprimanded Bradley, and told him to stay away from Jane Doe unless in an emergency. So he did nothing, essentially. He said, stay away from the student unless it's an emergency. But this high school resource officer, this sheriff's deputy, who Leon Lott hired, he hired this man, was left as a school resource officer at Spring Valley High School. That's your sheriff of the fucking year. So was Dion McNeil, a.k.a. Devil's Advocate, a.k.a. me, bad cop, no donut pappy? Was I lying? Was I making it up now? What say you bootlickers? Now you see why I hate cops so much. Now you seeing it. The policing expert found the inquiry into Bradley's behavior with Jane Doe 2 far below acceptable, the filing said. UN's inquiry failed to look into emails between Bradley and Jane Doe, even though the supervisor could have accessed those emails according to the court document. Those 2015 emails show Bradley arranged to meet with Jane Doe 2 before school hours, told her to delete a certain email because school officials could see it, and sent pictures of himself to the student. They covered all this up. He had this shit. Listen, he could have had this shit back in 2015. Why do you think he never saw it? Why do you think he never saw it? Why do you think he... This is what happened to me. My brother, who's a high school principal, molested me. This is why I act the way I do. This is why I go around interfering in things the way I do. This is why I became a fucking journalist. This is why I went after judges in South Carolina. This is why I went after cops and got to South Carolina. This is why I went after SLED, who's the South Carolina Law Enforcement Division. This is why I go after them so hard. I am South Carolina's #1 muckraker journalist. And people out there call me a liar. Do you see this shit? Was I lying now? The current U.S. Sheriff of the Year covered up my child molestation. That's why I hate cops so much. This is why whatever you tell me to give them a chance, you're reinvigorating trauma. It's cruel. It's cruel. You will spend more time lecturing me than lecturing this man. Every bootlicker out there who says nothing about this is a fucking monster. I used to hide in the closet. I used to have a turtle shell when I was a kid. I was a big fan of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And my mom, my birthday on one year, she bought me a turtle shell. And I thought it was going to protect me. So I wore it. And I wore it because of my brother. My mother walked in on it. She did nothing. Leon Lott knew about it. He did nothing. I've tried to cope with this a lot for a very long time. And to the day I die, all cops are bastards. To the day I die, if a cop gets a bullet in his fucking head, I clap. To the day I fucking die. You know what you did to me, Leon Lott. And I hope nothing but the worst for you. Whenever you feel like you want to come duel me or challenge me, I'll be waiting, bitch. Drop your gun, drop your fucking deputies. Let's go behind the fucking shed. Let's have a nice conversation. You're a piece of shit. Leon Lott and his entire fucking family, every deputy, you're worth less than trash to me. And if he burns for this, it won't bring me peace. Because now I have to think, my older brother molested me. How many other kids has he done this to? And Leon Lott told the media that I lied about it. That's what he did to me. He made me out to be a liar when I was telling the truth. How is it possible that I'm saying the same thing? Multiple parents in multiple lawsuits are saying the same thing. You got the South Carolina Supreme Court document saying the same thing. How is that possible? How is that possible? It's gotten so severe to me. Whereas I do every state that I've been to, I interfere with cops. I I look into all the cases where I think there might be a cover up, and I solve them. I've gotten so far, people don't know that it's me because I do it anonymously, but I've gotten 18 men arrested across the country. That's why. That's one of the reasons why I love South Carolina, because I realized that even if I exposed Leon Lott, and then the second I exposed them, they were going to send cops to my house. And the day after I left, South Carolina Law Enforcement Division sent police cars to my house to ransack my home to find the proof that I was holding about Leon Lott because they wanted to fucking protect him. I just got off the phone with the Lieutenant Paul LaRosa with the South Carolina Law Enforcement Division, or SLED. I wrote an article about LaRosa. Let me show you how deep this goes. I just talked to this man on the phone, Lieutenant LaRosa from the South Carolina Law Enforcement Division, who was telling me that they took out a felony warrant out on me to silence me, and then he told me, "Oh, well, there's no warrant. You have no warrant. You have a clear criminal background." I said, "Then why did Seattle PD tell me? Why did Seattle PD and Lakewood PD tell me I have a fucking felony warrant out for my damn arrest?" And neither one arrested me, because when they actually dug into the reason for the fucking warrant, they found that it was bullshit. Do you know why SLED took out a fucking warrant out on me? I called them too often. I'm going to show you right now, because you don't believe this shit, but Paul LaRosa just called me. And let me go. Paul LaRosa. Jackie Pitternick. See, I wrote an article about a woman named Jackie Pitternick involving a man named Paul LaRosa. And Jackie Pitternick, what happened with Jackie Pitternick is that Paul LaRosa, after she was talking some smack about judges, what happened was he turned around and started showing up to her house, right? Showing up to her damn house, harassing her, telling her that she could not talk to judges or she couldn't make certain statements, even though they weren't threats. You can't criticize a judge in a certain way in South Carolina. It's unconstitutional. We all know that. But that's why Fitz News wrote this article. Jackie persistent. Low country woman goes after alleged court abuse. Right? She would just start these Facebook campaigns, right? And they went after this woman. And the man who went after, and the reason why she started this campaign is because the father of one of her two children was abusive and abused her too. So Jackie went to SLED. She went to the police, and they tried to cover up the fucking abuse. The same way with me. The same way with the freaking students from Spring Valley. So SLED, instead of protecting this woman, went after her. I even got a recorded tape of Paul LaRosa telling her her First Amendment rights do not apply. I'll even link that tape in the video's description so that you can hear it. This is what's happening in South Carolina. That's how I met these people. I interfered in their cases. I went toe-to-toe with fucking SLED. I went toe-to-toe with them. I interfered in the Brendan Bryant case. Now, let me show you that case. See, that's a whole different case. Another case where Leon Lott covered up a fucking rape. Leon Lott, Brendan Bryant. See, this case involves the South Carolina Supreme Court case. And no, that's actually me posting on fucking Reddit, actually. So, let's see. Let's go to images real quick, because I think I made one of those thumbnails right there. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, I think I posted this on the feminism subreddit. Yeah, and let me see if I can get the actual case law here. Yeah, there we go. Go to site. Here we go. So, Madison Bryant v. Babcock Center. Madison is a fictitious name of a mentally disabled woman through her court-appointed guardian, Brenda Bryant, appellant v. Babcock Center. Now, this case took place in Richland County. Brenda went to Leon Lott and told him that her daughter was gang raped and got a freaking STD. And Leon Lott did not press charges even after the Supreme Court ruled in her favor. She won the case. She won $125,000 out of this case. South Carolina Supreme Court case. And Leon Lott tried to cover up this case because this gang rape happened because of the Babcock Center. It was a state-funded adult care facility for vulnerable adults. Leon Lott covered it up. Leon Lott covered up the rape of a mentally disabled woman. And if you don't believe that, I can prove it to you. And the way that I can prove it to you is that we can go to my channel and we're going to look up the video in which I did about it, and you're going to hear it from Brenda Bryant herself. Brenda Bryant, who was the mother involved in that case, who sued and won the case. I'm gonna let you hear it. I'm gonna let you hear it. So that way, there's no questions. Why is there so many mothers suing Leon Lott because he covered up rapes? Why is that? Don't you find that to be odd? Let me go to my channel real quick. I don't want to show you my channel settings, but I want you guys to see this. I'm gonna bring up the video, and you could actually see this. I want you to see your boy, the sheriff of the fucking year. I want you to see the kind of quality of sheriff of the year that we actually have, because once again, check out my channel, Advocates of Care. Advocates of Care, yeah, absolutely. You've been given moderator. Hey, post a link to your channel in the description, and I will definitely add you, because I post a link to your channel, and I'll put it across the Leon Lott. Look up that video. Bam. Found it, and we're gonna listen to it real quick. See, we're gonna listen to it real quick. So I want you guys to hear this. I want you to hear this. This is from the mother that was involved in the Madison Bryant v. Babcock Center case. To Leon Lott.
Numerous times did he.
Hold on, let me see. You said that Leon Lott, you went to Leon Lott. To Leon Lott.
Numerous times did I contact him.
And you went to him numerous times. And based on the Supreme Court findings, the Supreme Court agreed that Stephanie was raped.
The Supreme Court not only agreed she was raped, they agreed that she was not fully competent,
Okay.
that she was incompetent.
So you gave this information to Leon Lott personally? Or at least he knew of it.
Oh yes. Yes.
So he knew of it.
In fact,
I wanted to get that on video. I wanted to get that on video because I will be going after Leon Lott in my next video. I have
the head.
Yeah.
The head detective.
Go ahead.
All right.
So, once again, ladies and gentlemen, you're hearing another mother say it. You're hearing multiple parents say it. You're hearing me say it. And how much more evidence would we need? How much more evidence would we need? Bootlickers? How much more evidence would we need that this man covers up rapes? And that's why I hate cops so much. I don't know. But I don't know. Diesel Bomb in the chat asked me if he burns, will it bring me peace? It probably won't. I'm probably gonna end up, I don't know. I stay alive because the people need a fucking champion. The rape victims of South Carolina need a champion, and no one else is willing to take up this fucking work. A lot of the information that you saw in those articles, I was the one that fucking dug it up. I gave it to the goddamn media. They don't realize it's fucking me. Fuse Painter 80. Fuse Painter 86. Agile Credit. Devil's Advocate. Mr. Devil's Advocate. I have so many handles. I have multiple press badges. Cause I can show you. Let me show you real quick. It's not hard to get a press badge with the U.S. Press Association. I'm gonna show you how you can do it as a citizen. Pin name, U.S. Press Association. You can get a pin name, and I have 6 different press badges. And you could actually use, like a pin name. You don't have to actually, you don't actually have to use your real name. Let's see. Let's look up the U.S. Press Association. It's the largest one in all of America. So again, you go here, and they have criteria that you got to actually meet. But once you meet it, you got to pay $175. And once you do that, they'll give you an actual login. You get to see draft articles. You get to actually submit your articles, and be seen all over the world. This is how I got famous, right? And guess what, guys? Guess what? That's my article. Are South Carolina airports ready for coronavirus? My article is on the front page of the U.S. Press Association, and there's people out there doubting my credentials as a damn journalist. It's still on there right now. My article is still there right now, guys. My article is still there. It's on the Daily Counter, thedailycounter.com. That's me. Submitted by Dion McNeil. That's me. And people doubted me. I tried to save South Carolina from the COVID, man, from freaking COVID, because even the airports, they weren't taking it seriously. So, once again, I need people to understand there's a reason why I say things that I say. Leon Lott covered up my child molestation. He covered up so many rapes. He's got to go. Because I went to Antifa. I went to the Black Panthers. I went to NFAC. I gave them the copy of those damn videos just this morning. I want people to know. As soon as it starts getting hot, I want them to be aware of just who does this kind of shit. I didn't tell them to do anything. But I'm free to share information if you can see now that I'm actually a fucking journalist. Now that I showed you an article on the front page of the U.S. Press Association, I can share information with whoever the fuck I please. As long as I don't instruct you to fucking do anything, like be violent. Oh, but I will make sure that they know right when it's getting hotter. Into May, into June, July, August, I want them to be aware of just who is it that's covering up rapes. Fuck you, Leon Lott. You're a piece of shit. And if I ever saw you face to face, I would piss on you. You fucking scumbag. you.